Good morning. It's Lions Talk with Smokin' Jeremy D. Von Doom is in training for his Pepsi job, so he won't be here today. It'll be just me. If someone wants to pop in, they can that I know they are. I'm good with that. But it's another great day to be a Lions fan. Dwayne Keen's in the chat, blowing it up, and I agree. Let's wait and see. Right now it's just the kindling of free agency, just the tampering period. The actual free agency period doesn't start until tomorrow. So let's see what happens in day two. There was a couple moves overnight, and we'll discuss that too. But overall, it's time to get this show going. I'm gonna start the intro and we'll get my ugly face on the screen for you.
Charles here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out New Cat Bodies by Jeremy Kimball.
What a great night we had. Did Minnesota get better? They signed Sam Darnold in the middle of the night, and this morning they signed Aaron Jones. I think they got better at running back since they fired Alex Madison. But one of the better running backs in the division stays in the division just to throw it back at his old team for letting him go. Because I think if they'd have kept him with Josh Jacobs, that might have ended up being the best running back room in the North. And no, not against Gibbs and Montgomery. I'm just saying Josh Jacobs with Aaron Jones and his receiving ability, it would have been a better fit, in my opinion. I could be wrong, and I admit when I'm wrong. But I'm the big thing I want to talk about today. I am so sick of this Brad Holmes, Dollar General, five and dime, whatever you want to call it, type crap that everybody says because Brad Holmes has done better with this team every year. The team gets better. Everybody bitches about what he does in free agency every year, but the team gets better. Thank you, Scott Smith. I'm not I'm not hyping anybody up. I'm just saying Carlton Davis is a solid cornerback. You're talking about a guy that held Justin Jefferson in check. You're talking about a guy that held Jamar Chase in check. We don't have Gucci money. That's where you're wrong. We only got 23 million left in cap space, and 10 to 18 of it goes to rookie signings, depending on how many picks we end up with. I'm sick of everybody being stupid about it. And yes, has the trades worked out the last couple of years? No, they haven't. I'll admit it. Michael Brocker's trade, definitely a busted trade. Trinity Benson trade, a busted trade. I think this one's a decent trade. It means what happens down the road. We got to see it on the field. That's all I'm saying. Let it happen on the field. Don't bitch before they play it down. Marcus Davenport, you know what he is? He's Romean and Julio Aquara rolled up in one. Jonathan Haidt, I'm saying Marcus Davenport, when healthy, is better than both of them combined. So let's hope he can stay healthy. Um, Carlton Davis covered Justin Jefferson and gave up 32 yards and 1 touchdown. Jamar Chase, 32 yards, no touchdowns. Orlando Escribano Jr. He also covered all the other bum ass wide receivers in the NFC South, but that's another story. And if it wasn't for Craig Reynolds lighting him up and hurting him for 4 straight weeks, in case you all remember, that was the block of the year, Amon-Ra wouldn't have had a touchdown that game. Fred Peterson, good morning. It's a great day to be a Lion. One pride, absolutely. But free agency continues. Uh, one of the targets we wanted for CB, uh, A plus for what he's done in the past. What he's done this year remains to be seen. There is no grade yet. His trades, I give a C. Until we see the results of this trade, his grades are a C, maybe a C minus. Hunter is still unsigned, and we can't afford him. AJ Empinesa went back to the Bills last night. Um, Good morning, VD, with a face for radio and a voice for Telegram. uh, VD is training at Pepsi today. Yesterday he sat out because he was hurt. So today he's either working or he's getting that tooth fixed. It depends on which Buck fans you talk about it. Eh, No, 100% said he wants a bag this year. He isn't chip chasing. Uh, it is what it is. Hunter is me first. And this just in, John Kaminsky reversed his deal. He freed the cap hit drops from 6.3 to 4.2, so it clears out another 2 million. So we got guys that want to stay, evidently, instead of being cut because John Kaminsky was one of those guys that was going to be cut to save the money. So we cleared up half of his money. And we got Carlton Davis. It wasn't the 73rd pick we gave up. It's better. It's the 92nd. Right. It is depth, John Kapler. I like that move. It's better than re-signing Charles Harris. Charles Harris was great his first year, got a respectable deal, but didn't live up to it. Now he's a free agent. I'm good with it. So the commission restructures, I like that. That's a one less guy we got to hunt for depth. Um, it explains a lot. Will the commission return? Clearing more cap room for what? Probably a nice mid-tier signing like DJ Reader or Shelton Rankings. I have the feeling that's one of the guys we're getting because that's who they've been talking about the most everywhere across Lions boards with the media. So I believe it's going to be either DJ Reader or Shelton Rankins, and either one I'm good with. I'm actually leaning more towards Shelton Rankins because he's played DT2 effectively. DJ Reader is strictly a nose tackle, so he ends up being a DT1. Ralph Williams, RW Media. How you doing there, buddy? Still big names out there, but no big money. You're not understanding it. We have 23 million and still have to do. Armstead find a home? N- Not yet. And he doesn't have as much guaranteed money on the books, so he's going to be looking to get paid too. Oh, that was James Houston. I'm looking at over the cap right now. So we got our cap space up to 33 million and 10 to 18 million is gone. That leaves 15 million. So I think it's DJ Reader. Who's got money like that though? The Bears, the Texans, and there was 6 teams with more money than us. But the Raiders been spending it like it's Pez candy after giving the deal to Wilkins. So I doubt they have as much left anymore. But the Bears still have more than us. We all know that Minnesota doesn't. That's why they signed Sam Darnold. They don't want a first round quarterback this year, evidently. And I think it would have been smarter than Sam Darnold. It could lead to, yeah, Bears Benton still got, and we don't need big names. Brad Holmes warned us. He told us this right at the combine meeting. Y'all are going to want some big flashy names. And when we don't do it, you're going to be mad. Yes. I'm saying if Aaron Jones would have stayed with Josh Jacobs, I'm just saying there isn't a lot of room out there, Steve, when you figure out that rookie cap's got to come out of that. Yeah, it's either DJ Reader or Sheldon Rankins. It's all going to come down to the final dollar. And I think if we make that move, that's probably going to be our final move, other than a couple of camp bodies. Myself, everybody wants everybody to go sign these $30 million guys or $25 million guys when you don't have the cap space for it. You know, John Kapler, I've been saying it all along. I think it's easier to trade back than it is to trade up. Trading up is going to either cost us extra picks in this draft or extra picks going forward. If Steve is real, I understand you don't care about Jones going because he has been hampered with injuries the last 2 seasons. But at the same time, I think if you kept him, you had the best running back room in the North, and that's just my opinion. If you had Jacobs and Jones together, now it remains to be seen on who you guys get for that complimentary piece. I mean, the one kid that was a rookie last year did okay, but he wasn't wow. You know what I mean? Now next year, and CJ Willett, you're exactly right. This is what I've been trying to explain. We don't have the money to Andrew Isham. It's fine if it's not elite if you get better up front, and we're probably going to do that through the draft. We got almost 34. It's 33,820,162. That's what we got. $33,820,162 left. So you got room for maybe one mid-tier to good signing. Our dead money this year is 23,054,000 because don't forget, we got a bunch of players that left and are still on the roster. Oh, we've seen lots of trades at the back of the draft trading back. It's no guarantee that Sanders still is a first round pick. Everybody thinks Sanders still is a first round pick. On some boards, he's listed as the 101st person. You guys all look at one board and think that's Yang. And Dan McNeil, you're exactly right. Brad is building for the long haul while not putting us in cap hell. They're delusional. You're talking about 7-win teams that has to get immensely better to do better than that, as far as I'm concerned. Their defenses are good, but their offenses don't do well. Um, they gotta fix that O-line first and foremost, and I'd almost be happier for the Bears if they stayed at 1 and took Joe Alt and then got the best wide receiver on the board at 9. Um, national champions, just because they're national champions doesn't mean every player is a first round pick, Orlando Escobar. I think JJ McCarthy should be a 3rd or 4th round pick myself. I don't know how you think this is less of a team, Andrew Isham. Yeah, Fred Peterson, I know. I hear it all the time. Everybody says every year we got worse, yet we get better results. So who's right? Brad Holmes or the people bitching about it? That's where I'm at. I'm a team before player guy. I could give two shits less what you've done in the past. I want to see what happens this year. I don't think we're doing any more in-house signings. I think we signed who we signed back, Jonathan Haidt. I don't think we're doing anything more. I think we're going to build it through the draft and UDFA like he's done every year. He even told us that's what he's doing. Well, then you're in the minority there because I completely disagree with that. No, a lot of people keep saying we. How do? Oh wait, John, you specifically said how can we do it with these bargain players? We're getting worse by the minute. You said that 2 nights ago, right here. So I don't want to hear that stuff. His bargain shopping has got us from 3 wins to 9 wins to 12. Right. Andrew's just like John Kapler and everybody else, and a bunch of the podcasters that are griping that we didn't sign Christian Wilkins, that we didn't throw 30 million at him and wipe out all of our cap on one player. He's mad that we didn't go out and sign uh Chidobe Awuzie at $19.2 million a year like like the Titans did. Oh yeah, let's just throw all our money in one basket and then say, okay, now we can draft. That's not what Holmes does. And he told us he wasn't going to do it, and he's not doing it. And it's still making people upset. And I find it laughable. Oh, you're mad because you evidently a lot of fans don't. A lot of fans don't. Like I said, I'm a team before player. Dale, you're right. It is pretty funny. I think it's funny that all these armchair GMs, I've made my guesses and I said, you know what, who I want is this, this, and this, but we're probably not getting any of those guys. I said that Friday night. Would I have loved to had Christian Wilkins? Duh. Would I have loved to had Chidobe? He was my target number one. I've said that all off season. Isn't it funny that he was one of the first corners off the board? Wait a minute. Let's see what Dan says here. What are you talking about? You disagree with Dan about Jay McCarthy? And Eric Armstead doesn't have a lot of guaranteed money on the books for the 49ers. So he wants a bag. He didn't agree with a team friendly extension. Yeah, I know. I already mentioned it, Big Dan. Uh, I understand, and I laugh because what am I to do? I can't stop a guy for talking. I can't stop you from commenting. Telling people to shut up don't work. I just said I'm sick of it. We don't know better than Brad Holmes and his scouting department. CJ Willett, that's where I've been trying to say. You add in the playoffs, we had a 14-win season. We played 20 games for the first time in my lifetime. We played 20 games, people. Think about that for a second. If that had happened 32 years ago, you know what 20 games means? You won the Super Bowl. I try not to tell people to shut up. And if somebody gets too rude or too obnoxious or they're belittling somebody too much in the chat, I'll block them. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Hell, I blocked the guy that I made a bet with that I won because he told me the guy was still trash. Said Goff will never throw for more than 4,000 yards. He'll never have more touchdowns than interceptions. Fred Peterson, that is exactly my point. Let's say we pick up a Snead or Hunter, who both want over 20 million a year. We have 33.8 left. So we get them and we don't rework Sewell. We don't rework Amon-Ra St. Brown. We don't resign McNeil. We don't resign Ife Melifonwu if he has another great season. We don't resign Derek Barnes if he shows out, who's been playing out of position his entire NFL career, who was a D end and outside linebacker at Purdue and has been playing the Mike at middle linebacker. And because they made him a starter last year, you put Jack Campbell, a Mike. Oh, last night, Dan Dan Leonard got a little irritated with John Kapler and told him to shut up last night. Oh, there's lots of people who talk crap on the Lions. Oh, one of my employees isn't coming in. Great. And we're not done yet. He was being a soap dish, and I had had enough of it. There he is. It's Von Doom in the chat. Love him. Yeah, I understand, Steve. There is a lot of the Madden GMs out there, but they don't realize that they turn their salary cap off is why they can afford those guys. Right, and like I said, unless it's a personal attack, Fruity Fred, because you keep bringing up the worst signing in the last 4 years for that team, and he's a little salty about it still, but you like it because it gets him going. That's why he calls you Fruity Fred Peterson. Right. One of the reasons I've done this show is because of freedom of speech. There's a reason why I have very colorful metaphors in my terminology. Um, let's see. You know what I think spending 20 million out of 33 million makes as much sense as? Why don't you just go to the bathroom, wipe your ass, and then take the shit? There, I said it. That's how I really feel. Because that's as much sense as it makes. Wipe your ass first and take a shit. Hey, I don't call you stupid. I don't call anybody stupid. And Jameis Winston was just signed by the Browns. And plot twist, Bengals decided today not to cut Joe Mixon and traded him to the Texans. Yes, Andrew Isham, that would be like having a dog water purifying machine. You're absolutely right. It's still going to taste like dog water when it's all said and done. Brent sounds like the argument me and my wife had last night. And a Bucks fan said they really like the CB. It depends on who you ask. There's always going to be players that are loved and hated within their own fan base. Take Jared Goff, for instance. I don't hate him. I like him. I didn't say he's great, and I didn't say he's shit. I said he's right there in the middle. He's average to great. He's below average when under pressure. 1000%. Last year, Goff was 38 out of 38 starters. Shaq Barrett to the Dolphins. Interesting. He must have changed his mind on retirement. Good get for the Finns. Yeah, I mean, it replaces one of the pieces they lost. The Dolphins quietly got a lot worse this year. And we also did get the DB coach from the Jaguars last year. We also got the defensive line coach from the Titans. Terrell Williams, I believe his name is. I just said that, Ricky Sakat. You missed it. I literally just said Joe Mixon traded to the Texans, so he's gone from Joe Burrow to CJ Stroud. What if Brad Holmes trades Goff? That's something to talk about. LOL. I'm just kidding. No, yeah, John, I understand it. By the way, former Lions kicker John Parker Romo was signed by Minnesota last night. So the average keeps getting average there in Minnesota. Sam Darnold as a quarterback, they're gonna become a run first team. They have to. That's why they signed Aaron Jones. Uh, Shaq Barrett to the Fins, a guy that couldn't beat out Riley Patterson, who we traded for and cut last season. That tells you how good John Parker Romo is. Who did McManus go to last night? That was a signing in the middle of the night that I didn't see coming. I already Andrew. Holmes' contract is 5 years, so this is year 4, so the end of next season, not next year, the end of next season, 2026. So, yeah, they gotta extend him next year. I'd rather extend him than anybody on the coaching staff. Riley did a good job for us last year until he didn't. He'd have been on the right roster at the end of the season if he was still good. It was a waste of a 7th round pick. We Only thing I hope is for Goff to take a team-friendly contract. If he was taking the team-friendly contract, it'd have been done before the bye week last year. That's all I got to say. My thoughts on the moves that just came in? They're exactly what I expected because I said all along who I wanted, but I said we're going to get a bunch of mid-tier guys that nobody thought we were going to get because they don't overspend in free agency. Goff going to go the Flacco route. Sorry, my publisher just texted. I'm probably not. It is shocking what the Packers have done so far, but they had more cap room than they've had in years, and they're making the best of it. I'm glad they've done it, but, like, at the same time, if you get a guy like Josh Jacobs, who's an upgrade from AJ Dillon, it makes more sense. It makes more sense to keep him than cut him. I understand you guys need a cap room, and I get the cut, but I hate the cut for you. That's all I'm saying, Steve. You guys could have had the best running back room in the North if you wouldn't have cut Aaron Jones. That's just my opinion because of the upgrade that Aaron Jones or Josh Jacobs was over AJ Dillon. Is he the best running back in the North? 100%. If he stays healthy, he's the best. No, Hooker was not drafted to be a backup. That's where everybody's wrong. Brad Holmes has been scouting Hendon Hooker for 10 years of his life. He's been friends with that family for 15. And I think Aaron Jones is going to help Minnesota possibly get 1 to 2 games better just because they'll have a better running back than Alexander Madison. The only way we're going to clear up any more cap space right now. Yep, and Hooker fell only because of his injury. That's why there hasn't been the big deal that Goff wants. He's not getting here. That is not in Brad Holmes' thing. What's going on with Chauncey Gardner Johnson? He's a free agent. Goodbye. Last night, the Vikings signed Sam Darnold. Yeah, Bengals traded Mixon to Houston, and they signed Winston. I said they weren't. Steve, a lot of fans wanted him back. Brian Branch said he wanted him back, which is all fine and dandy. But at the same time, I had a feeling. There's times when I have that gut. Vikings signed Sam Darnold. I really wish Sarah was here. Uh, Sarah was probably getting ready to come out of hiding when she heard that Aaron Jones was going to be in Viking. PFF does some rankings really well and some they're off on. I hate using PFF on cornerbacks because you can watch a corner have the best game of his year and be the worst rated guy on your team. So I trust PFF's cornerback ratings about as much as I trust the old passer rating. QBR is a better metric than what the passer rating is. Everybody has said this, and they're right. But QBR is even flawed. PFF is flawed. The only thing that PFF, oh, that's great, Steve. That's a hurtful name to say in a Lions chat, Steve. That's almost as bad as saying FTP to you. By the way, FTP, if I haven't said it to you today. Man, and by the way, I didn't get a chance to upgrade my ticker. I'm up to 390 subs on YouTube, 629 still on Football Talk 365, into some of the greatest Detroit Lions fan groups on Facebook. Please like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna miss the Todd on draft day. John Parker Romo, he has great leg strength. He missed on accuracy. He was less accurate than the Money Badger. That's all I got to say. So they also got a kicker that can hit from 58 yards. Mel Kiper without Todd won't feel right. I'd rather have Todd McShay without Mel. Sam Darnold, the Lions killer. In one game, he killed us. Yes. Whew. I don't have him as a tier three quarterback, Lion King. I have him as a tier two. You can call him tier three all you want, but I'll disagree with that. He is a tier two quarterback. Who did Sam Darnold play for? The Jets, his rookie year. The first year we had Matt Patricia. Mel has the Patriots taking JJ on his board, and I think it's a huge mistake. Oh my God, that's great, Steve. When I see Mel Kiper, I see Count Chocula. We all remember that because Sam Darnold's first pass went straight to Quandre Diggs for a pick six that year in 2018. And then he proceeded to light our ass up 42 to whatever. Matt Stafford threw like four picks, and we looked awful on both sides of the ball. That was I wanted Matt Patricia fired that day. And as the year went on, he finally had a good win, remember? We beat the New England Patriots 38-10, and they won the yeah, fuck off. And that was before we had snacks. Stop saying Matt Patricia, it's giving me PTSD. Because of your message, Brian Stover. No, I didn't think we get him. You woke me up in the middle of the night to send me a message saying we got Sneed. Yeah, Orlovsky as an ESPN QB expert still blows my mind, but it's a lot like the whole phrase that they have. Those who can't play coach, evidently they're able to talk about QBs too. Because Chris Sims is another one. I'm really excited for McKinney now. If we get Newbin, Tyler Newbin, yeah, he should be good. I'm dead asleep and 2:30 in the morning. This prick texts me, "The Lions traded for Snead." I'm like going, "What? What?" I messaged two chats and look at it. If we draft Worthy, are we mad? Yes. He has a bad drop rate. He's going to be the next John Ross of the NFL. I don't like him. Oh, wait. I got yelled at because I said 2 weeks ago that Darnell Mooney would be a free agent this year, as per what his agent said, because he's not happy in Chicago. I got berated on another podcast. Jeremy, don't go saying stuff like that because you're wrong. They're working on a deal right now. He turned down he turned down the the extension that the Bears were working on and became a free agent. It's a friend of mine. friend. I defriended him last night. Hey, don't defriend a friend over false information. He was fucking with you in the middle of the night, and you were probably at least a six pack in if I know you, Brian Stover, or four mixed drinks, whichever you prefer. Hendon Hooker was up there as CJ Stroud as far as I'm concerned. I wanted Hooker bad, and Brad got him. I was excited to get him as I was at getting Branch. Who you consistently drafting at 29 after the update? So far, it's been Jerzon Newton who's fell considerably. Also, Graham Barton falls to there. Cooper Beebe, he lands in between that pick and 61. Yeah, it was just saw I put in the chat, man. Andrew, you're late. No, Byron Murphy has moved up to a top 15 pick on most of those. Bandit Dan Davis. I think we were all excited when we got a hooker. um, you know who else was excited? All the girls that walk 6 mile because they finally wear his name proudly on her back. I wore this jersey specifically for the show when talking about Brad Holmes. Who's my top three edges in the draft? Jared versus Chop Robinson and Latu. Latu, I have a question about because his injury history is almost as long as Michael Penix. And if you go to last year's draft, Carson, or 2 years ago's draft, Carson Strong, they have a laundry list of injuries. He damn near broke his neck. It's a great story about Latu. Rather have a riser or a faller at 29. Who's high on McCarthy? Be honest. Patriots, possibly Vikings, Raiders. I saw somebody say he's a better talent than Jaden Daniels, and I about laughed out of my chair. He had better coaching. That's where I'm at with it. Well, guys, it's about that time. Let's talk about the sponsors we have in this wonderful fantasy world of football we talk here. Because you know what? In all actuality, all of it's fantasy until it happens, correct? We can all wish for whoever we want, but we should trust whatever our GM does. That's where I'm at with it. But this pick right here, we traded back to 12 and took 26. There was a lot of people that came in my draft talk and said how bad of a pick it is, blah, blah, blah. We should have did this. We should have did that. We could have had this. We could have had that. We could have traded back again. But he had 9 touchdowns and almost 1,000 yards. He had 1,100 yards total when you add in his receiving yards. Actually, 1,400 yards, right? Wasn't it 1,400 yards for him? So chill. Let's see what happens with the rest of free agency and the draft before we all go off the rails and batshit crazy. But John Kapler backed me up on the PFF thing. You can have a guy have a great game and another guy have a great game on the opposite side of the field. Your team wins, their team loses. That guy gets rated good because he's on a different team, and the guy that's on the Lions get rated bad. We've seen it hundreds of times. But our favorite sponsor, it's FTP. No, it's not Free the Puppies. It's not Flush the Poop. It's not Fondle the Pigeons or Feed the Pigeons. It's Fuck the Packers every day and twice on Sunday. And of course, there's our other sponsor. Let me go to the chat before I go to any more sponsors. McCarthy is a few years away from being an NFL caliber QB. Vikings would have been. Why, man? Why? Yep, Mooney to the Falcons. Uh, McCarthy is a few years away from being an NFL caliber QB. I agree. And Ricky Scott says, wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which fills up faster. Chicago up, bear down, FTP. Raj Neese, thanks for coming in the chat. Welcome to the show. Yes, it's Smoking Jeremy B's show today. Uh, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone right now because that was great. You came in and gave us an FTP. But Chicago's looking like they've done it. My 3 favorite teams are the Lions and whoever plays the Green Bay and the Cowgirls. Would I trade up for McCarthy? Not if you were gonna pay his entire salary out of your personal pocket, Steve, if I was GM. I think he's a late day 2, early day 3 pick myself, and I'm not trying to hate on the guy. I just see a lot of flaws in his game. There's a reason why we ran 400 times in the last 5 games and threw it 180 total. That says everything you need to know. But Mooney to the Falcons, yeah, we heard about that. JJ came out a year too early. Absolutely, Rajneesh. He needed another year. Shaq Barrett didn't retire as a free agent, and he went to the Dolphins. I think it's a good get for them with everything they've just lost because they just lost a linebacker and an edge to the Vikings. I think he should have went back to school. Him hiring an agent and declaring for the draft was not an intelligent decision for me because you get them all Samerstall, Roman, Zinter, Cornelius. Let's go. Cornelius is considered a 6th round pick right now. Zinter is still considered a 4th because he hasn't been able to do anything. If he's able to walk and show up on the field at the pro day, he'll go up a round automatically. And we don't have the 92nd pick. We got the 73rd people. 92 is what we gave up for Carlton Davis, and they gave us Carlton Davis and 2 6th-round picks, this year's and next year's. So we got 2 picks back and a player, and everybody's still bitching, and I don't get it because all they got to do is extend him and rework the contract this year, and it saves money. my other sponsor. Let's go. It's Gloss Negron, the best window tinner in Saginaw, 989-443-9240. Give him a call, located at 409 Hamilton Street in Saginaw. Get your appointment. He also does window or auto detailing, so you can get your car cleaned out to get the smell from the winter. Because we all know you leave your car closed up, the smell gets trapped in there. It stinks like a combination between swamp ass, cigarettes, and puke, especially if you're a drinker. Get that cleaned out, and then get the window tint on so it never gets that hot again. But Alabama and Georgia players are all first rounders, but no one bats an eye. I'm not talking about that, Orlando Escobar. I don't care. I don't think Alabama and Georgia players are first rounders. You're being a little delusional yourself right now. They get picked all throughout the draft. Otherwise, Brian Branch wouldn't have been in the second round. Got to go. God bless you all. Remember, we are all family. We are one pride, Lions, except Steve. LOL. And last but not least, the best sponsor for me, because it's my employer. Located at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road in Flint, Michigan, 48507 zip code, 602 West Atherton Road. It's Brandon Service, where we sell new and used tires. Call to get your quote for new tires, as it takes a day or two to get them in. 810-233-8230. But we have some of the best tires on used tires in the county. They start at 40 bucks a piece. Mention this ad. If you're buying a set of tires, we'll give you 10 bucks off. Smoking Jeremy B sent you. That's all you got to say. Whether you go in there in the morning and talk to George or Red, or you come in the evening and you talk to, well, myself or Red, we'll be happy to take care of you, because we're not trying to get rich off of one person. We're trying to get rich off of everybody. What a great show, guys. You guys kept the chat lively and interesting all day. Uh, Roman Wilson would have been if he ran as fast as he was projected to. He didn't run as fast as he was projected to. Everybody said that Roman Wilson, Cornelius Johnson, and Mike Sandmerstill would all run 4.2s. That's what we heard prior to the combine, and none of them did. And Cornelius Johnson was still faster than Roman Wilson, but Roman Wilson is the better all around wide receiver. He might fall to the second round. I doubt it. I think he's going to get taken in the first, because too many teams need wide receivers. But thank you. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Much love to all of you. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts in here. Much love. I'm not trying to do any hate on Michigan any more than anybody else. It has to do with what they see on film and on the field and at the combine. So there's some players that may move up. Yep. Mooney went to the Falcons. 3 year, 39 million. So he got 3 million more per year. Joe Moore winning O-line is what I see. Eh, absolutely. Have a great day, everybody. And just because they're looking more ignorant than ever, let's spade and neuter your Viking fans today.